Want to level up your graphic motion? In this video, we are diving into how to create an eye-catching 3D call to action graphics, fully animated and customizable. But that's not all. While building this, I will show you the real difference between regular shape mask versus the powerful shape tool in Fusion. If you've ever wondered when to use a regular rectangular mask versus sRectangle, this tutorial clears it up with practical visual examples. You don't have to use my design exactly. The goal is to help you understand the tools so that you could create your own professional graphic from scratch. Let's jump in and start creating visuals that pop. Okay, guys, let us begin. All right, so I already have a lot of work going on here, so don't pay no mind to all of that. So we are going to head to DaVinci now, and we are going to start with adjustment clip. Okay, so we are going to begin. So I'm going to bring down another adjustment clip here, and we are going to start afresh. All right, let's head to Fusion page. All right, so this is where we're going to begin. So, like I mentioned on the intro, you've seen the graphic that I'm trying to create. And before we get to that graphic, we are going to start with the difference, all right, between the mask shape and the S shape. So we already know that they both are shapes, all right. So they both have a lot of similarities. You could achieve the same thing with both of them, but they do have some differences. All right. So the S shape is a true vector shape, and the mask shape is a mask. But we do have other tools to manipulate the mask to have some of the function of the true vector shape. So let us quickly get into the mask shape. We talked about this. I think in my last two videos, we talked about how to create shapes. We have a background. Let's use the eclipse shape for instance here. Simply click the eclipse node as a mask to the background. So what's happening here is the visible versus the unseen, or the non-visible. So that's what's happening here. Okay, so if we head to eclipse now and reverse the case, now you are seeing the unseen. If we remove the invert, now we see the visible part of it. All right, so that's what's happening with the mask. So you're simply masking out the other part of the background except the circular shape. So that's one of the differences. Okay. And if we zoom into the edges here, if we zoom in close enough, you see that the edges are blurred a little bit. It's softened. All right, so let's bring in the S shape, S eclipse. Here you go. So if we bring this to view here, this is a true vector shape. There is no masking or anything like that. So you cannot invert the mask. And if you zoom in here to the edges, you are not going to see that blur. So it's a bit sharper. Okay. All right. As you can see, it's very sharp compared to the mask. So those are the few differences between the two. But that's not all. Also, when it comes to making an outline, let's make an outline. Let's make an outline here. For us to make an outline when it comes to, let's head back to the mask. We could achieve outline, but we have to manipulate other nodes in order to make that outline. So let's give you an example. In order to make our outline, we could simply copy that same node and we could paste it outside. All right, so we could bring another background here and we could connect this to the background, mask that background, and we could connect it here. So it's two black shapes laying on top of each other. So we could change this to white. All right. So now you can see that the one in front is not white. All right. So we could simply head to Eclipse and deselect solid and increase the border width. So now we have an outline. All right. We have a black Eclipse shape with an outline. But it's not really a true outline, even though you could also add transform, and now you could control both of them. So it looks like a true outline, but we're using the nodes to manipulate both the outline and the background. So now they are performing together like an outline. But if you head to the original version of it and now decrease the size, okay, it doesn't look like an outline now. All right. So now if we decrease this, it just looks like two circles working together. All right. Which is exactly what it's doing. But the thing is, you increase that size to match the other part of the circle. So that way it's working together and it's creating the outline look. So in some cases, using mask works. And a lot of people do use mask to make it work. But if you want to create a vector-based graphics, or motion designs, you might want to use sShape, even though you could still achieve a lot of those with the mask. So let's head to the S Eclipse now, and let us see the difference. So of course, the S Eclipse, you're not gonna be able to connect it directly to the media out because it needs the S render. You need the S render in order to connect it to the media out. Okay, so with the S Eclipse also has an outline, a different node for the outline. Okay, but this is a true outline because, all right, so I'm going to arrange this differently. So I'm going to use the same S Eclipse and I'm going to put it here so that way we could. Okay, so this is a node and this is the outline. Okay. And with the outline, you also need the S render. So I'm going to copy this, paste. All right. So now we could join them together. Well, we do have the same color also, but remember we are using the same S Eclipse node with the same S Eclipse node. So what we could do now is we could change this color by bringing a background and connecting this S Eclipse to a background mask. Okay, and connected it to the merge. All right, so now we've changed the outline color. All right, let's leave the outline as, I don't know, green. All right, so let's make it green. Okay, so now if we change this shape, everything is changed at the same time. Okay, so this is really an outline. Okay, true vector shape. Let's say we are going to create a template. If we use the mask to create a template, you're gonna find some problems creating outline templates, especially if you want to animate the templates and stuff like that. Now, if you are going to change whatever size of it during the template you created, there's going to be problems. All right. So over here, you could create a different shape and it will be no problem because the outline is connected to the shape. All right. So that's the difference here. These are the few differences between the S shape and the mask shape. With that being said, we are now going to use the S shape to create the graphic that we are about to create. All right, so we are going to put these to the side and we're going to start with our graphic. All right, so we are going to use the S shape to create those graphics. So I'm going to use the X rectangle, shift space bar, S rectangle. We are creating a 3D graphic. So we're going to use it different here. So I'm going to bring down this like so. And I'm going to increase the corner radius to 1. So this is the shape that I'm looking for. Okay, so I'm going to create another X rectangular shape. Okay, I'm forget this merge because we don't need the merge right now. We're going to delete the merge. So we're going to reduce the size. We're going to reduce the size here. Let's make this even. We're going to reduce the size. Do more. Okay. We're going to reduce the size like so. And we're going to do the same thing. Increase the corner radius like so. All right. So we're going to make it a bit smaller. Maybe increase this just a little bit. All right. So something like this is good. So, and the mask, we could always combine mask to make a different shape. All right. So we could combine mask and we could subtract mask. All right. So we could do the same with the S shape. The mask is going to give you an option to use merge, subtract, multiply, add, so forth and so on. Okay. The X shape have similar stuff, but we going to use the S Boolean node. So we're going to add 1 as a foreground, and we are going to head to the Boolean node, and we are going to use subtract. Now we got the shape, all right? So we could call this the frame. So this is the frame of our graphic. You could actually make interesting shapes using that method. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we are going to connect this to extrude node. So extrude node is going to adapt to the graphic, making it have that 3D effect. So we're gonna hit Shift space bar, extrude node. All right, so extrude 3D. So now we're going to hit the extrude 3D plane, and we are going to add light in here. We're going to add depth, so we could zoom in. All right, so we could command and mouse if you have the mouse, or command and use your two fingers if you're on the Mac pad. So you could add bevel depth and bevel map if you wish to, but I'm not going to do that here. I'm just going to leave it like this. So we have created the frames. So if you notice, we had that little board where we have the text attached to it. So we are going to create that right now. Again, we are going to use the X rectangle. So we're going to bring an X rectangle here. Okay. Let's make it that shape again. All right. So this is fine. We could always change the size on the 3D. So we are going to also add extrude node. We're going to add extrude node, and we're going to make it a bit thicker. We don't want it as thick as the frame, just a little thick. Okay, so we are going to merge this. Here, so the frame. So this way we could see both the frame, and so for now, let's just change the frame color. Just gonna put any color here. What color is nice color here? All right, so that color is fine. Let's look for the frame. We're gonna put the frame. We're gonna make sure the frame is in the middle. Make sure the frame is right in the middle. There you go. We are going to decrease the size of the frame. You go to transform, decrease the size. Yeah, we don't want the size to touch the edges. We want the size like this. All right, this is perfect. This is what we want here. Okay, so now we are going to add a text. So this is where we are going to add it in a strategic place. That's because we want to rotate both the text and the board. We have to put the merge here. All right, so that way when it rotates, it doesn't rotate the frame. So we're going to put the text here. So we're going to bring the text 3D, and we are going to merge it here. Boom, here. Okay, so this is the right place to put it. Okay, so we have to put subscribe. All right, we're going to change our text to popping. Obviously, we have to resize this because it's too. Okay, let's change the color right now so we see what we're doing here. Okay, so let's place it here. By the way, the text 3D comes with extrusion, so you don't need to add extrude node here. So I'm going to extrude this a little bit. 283 is good. All right, so let's head back to sizing. Okay, so this is trying to make it touch the board a little bit. Let's make sure it's touching. All right, so that's good. Let's bring it up just a little bit to center it. All right, so that's good. All right, so we have the first one, and we are going to copy this. We don't want to redo that again. We're going to copy this text. Now we're going to paste it. Okay, so we are going to change that. Let's say now, okay. We want that at the back, so we're going to rotate this. First of all, we can just push it to the back. All right, so we're going to rotate this. We don't want it like this, of course. Well, it depends. All right. If you're going to flip it on the x-axis, then it's different. So the way I want to flip it, I want it to be written normally here, so that way it will make sense. Okay, so I'm going to flip it on the y-axis. So that's why I'm going to put it like this. But if you're going to flip on the x-axis, then you want to also flip it on the x-axis here as well. Because remember, this is a 3D space, so you want everything to align properly. You want everything to look good. Okay, you also want this to attach to the wall. All right, so this is good. All right, so this is good. Let's go back to the front. So one more thing, you need a transform node that's going to transform both the text on the board. So now we're going to add a transform node. All right, so we look for transform 3D. over here now, if we rotate this, here we go. Perfect. So both the text and the board behind it, or the rectangle, is rotating at the same time. So that's why we added the transform here. So this is why we need to know what we're trying to animate, and we need to place transforms. We need to place our node in the right spot. Okay. And we need to fix the pivot because the pivot is not looking too sharp right here. So we need to fix the pivot. So we need to bring this here to the middle. Make sure this is right in the middle. Because if it's not, then the rotation is going to look awkward. So you want a perfect rotation. So you want that in the middle, just like that. All right, so let's rotate this. So let's try to rotate. There you go. So now you have a perfect rotation. There you go. We are done with the frame, we're done with the board, and we're done with the letters. Okay. Now to add that shininess to my frame and the board, we are going to use a texture that DaVinci have here. So if we need to locate that shininess material, it's called the gold bump. So you could go to template and you could type in gold bump and you could find it here. But I did a little tweak to it a little bit. So now it had a different feels to it with my little tweak to it. Okay, but you could use this gold bump here, or you could create your own or use another texture. So I'm going to use mine. Here we are going to look for replace material 3D. Okay, bump. And you're going to have that plain color, and we're just going to add this gold bump. So this is how I took mine a little bit to have this effect here. But you could use gold bump. It's going to have kind of similar effect. All right, so I took mine a little bit, and if you like what you see in the gold bump, you could use that gold bump directly from the template over here. Okay, and we also going to do the same with the rectangular board here. Okay, so we are going to replace that again with the gold bump. So we're going to add a replace material right over here. All right, put this. So now it has that color. So let's head back to the merge where you have. Well, so the gold bump here is yellow. Okay, that's why it has that. So whatever color you have in here is going to kind of have a shiny color. All right. So you could change that color to whatever you like as well. We are almost done actually. We've done with the frame, we're done with the lettering, and we're done with the board. All right. So now we are going to render it back to the media out. Okay. So whenever you have 3D, you have to use render node in order to be able to link it back to media out. So let's do that process right now. Okay. So from here, we are also going to add another transform node. So this transform node could now spin both the frame, the text, and the board, like we call it. We're going to add another transform 3D. Okay, so with here, you'll be able to rotate the entire thing, just like so. When we're done with everything, we are also going to change the pivot here. As a matter of fact, let's do it right now. Let's change the pivot. On the y-axis is in the middle, so it's going to rotate perfectly. But the problem becomes when you try to rotate it like this, that rotation doesn't look good to me. All right, so this is where we're going to change our pivot. We are going to change the y pivot. Put it here. So let's make sure the z pivot is not perfect. So we're going to make it perfect. Put it right in the middle. So it's looking perfect now. Okay, so we attached the 3D. So now we're going to bring our cameras and we are going to bring in our lights. You could use directional light or you could use spotlight. But first of all, let's make sure our camera is in the right spot. So our camera is out of focus. So if we put this here, so we're going to put this so it's focused. So we're just going to put a side. This, I feel like the side is going to, so it looks good from here for right now. All right. Let's use directional lights. Directional light. Boom. Gonna add it right here with this merge. Okay. Make sure you use target. Okay. And we want this somewhere here. Okay. Again, the pivots. So let's copy this directional light. Let's paste it here. Except this one, we're going to put it on the other side. Put on this side. So we got light from both directions. Okay. So this was a bit further away. By the way, you could use spotlight if you need to. You don't need to use directional light. So the next step is to add the render. I'm gonna add render, 3D render. Boom. All right. So let's add this here. Okay. So this is how the camera is viewing it. We could add lightning, boom, shadow, boom. All right. So the light is too harsh. So we need to decrease the intensity. So we're going to head to control, reduce intensity. Okay, so this is from the right side, decrease it from the left side. All right. We don't want it all the way too dark. Let's put this to the media out since it's not rendered. Okay, so if we put the media out, we're going to see the same thing that we are looking at from the render. Okay. Okay, so this is where we could rotate it. All right, so now we could animate our rotations. And we are going to use the y-axis. So we're going to hit animation from here. And let's head somewhere to maybe frame 40. And we're going to rotate it all the way to 180. Just type in 180 here. Boom. All right. So we get something like this. So let's head to media out now and let's see what's going on. So let's play it. And we got that animation. Boom. Okay. That's how we got that. All right. If you want a template of this, hit me up on the comment section. Then I could create a template for you if you want this graphic right here, and I will send it to you. All right, just let me know. And with that being said, guys, I've come to the end of this video. Make sure to hit that like button if you like this video, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Catch you on the next video. Peace.